Picture this. You walk into the kitchen, grab your favorite glass, reach into the freezer, and nothing. Just an empty plastic bin staring back at you. It is a wildly frustrating moment. But hey, take a deep breath because you are in exactly the right place. Think of me as your friendly, experienced neighbor who has fixed this exact problem more times than I can even count. Today, we're going through a complete explainer of the absolute most common ice maker issues, pulling together the best, most reliable troubleshooting methods for both your main fridge and those handy little countertop units.
You probably opened that freezer door, saw absolutely no ice, and immediately started seeing dollar signs flashing before your eyes. You're already imagining an expensive bill from a repair tech, right? Well, I'm here to tell you to put your wallet away. The vast majority of the time, an ice maker that just up and quit is actually suffering from a super minor issue. In this explainer, we're going to use a fast, simple, and totally jargon-free approach to figure out exactly what's wrong and fix it. No fluff, just practical steps you can take right this second. So let's get into it. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at 1. Safety first and quick checks, 2. Decoding light warnings, 3. Fixing water flow, 4. Sensor and tray solutions, and 5. Cleaning and calcification prevention. All right, let's start right off with section 1, safety first and quick checks. Before we even think about grabbing a tool or pulling out any parts, we absolutely have to secure the appliance. Step 1, literally just unplug the refrigerator or your countertop unit. Step 2, turn off the main water supply valve that's sitting behind the fridge. Now, once it's safe, here is a crucial secret. Your freezer temperature needs to be at exactly 0 degrees Fahrenheit. If your freezer is too warm, say you just don't have enough food in there to hold the cold, the ice maker actually shuts itself off on purpose to regulate the temperature. After you check that, verify the manual switches. On a lot of fridges, the switch is hiding inside the ice bucket housing on a control panel, or it's just a simple wire arm that got accidentally bumped into the up position by a rogue box of frozen peas. Flip it back down, and you might have just fixed your problem in 10 seconds. Moving right along to section 2, decoding light warnings. Let's shift gears to the countertop models for a second. When these little guys stop working, they are actually trying to tell you exactly what's wrong using those blinking error codes. For instance, if your ice full light is stubbornly staying on even when the basket is completely empty, your machine's little infrared LED sensor is probably just dirty or burned out. Or if the add water light starts flashing the exact second you plug it in before you even turn the power on, that's a classic textbook sign of a faulty temperature sensor. And what if the add water light comes on after the machine tries to pump water and the tray just dumps whatever it managed to collect? That means your machine literally can't sense the water flow, which almost always points straight to a clogged or jammed water pump. Which naturally brings us to section 3, fixing water flow issues. This is such a massively common frustration. You can hear the machine humming away, doing its thing, but there is simply no water flowing. For your main kitchen refrigerator, it almost always boils down to 2 main culprits. First up is your water filter. If you've got hard water at your house and you haven't swapped that filter out in over 6 months, it gets totally clogged and stops water dead in its tracks. The second culprit is the fill tube. That's the tiny little pipe that drops water down into the ice tray. Sometimes, low water pressure causes the water to freeze solid right inside that tube before it can even drop. The good news? You can easily fix this by grabbing a standard hairdryer, setting it to warm, and just gently blowing air over the tube until that ice blockage thaws out. Let's look at how these flow issues differ depending on your setup. For full-size fridges, definitely pull the unit away from the wall and make sure the main water line hasn't gotten kinked. For countertop models, you've got to use your ears. Listen closely. Do you hear a harsh grinding noise coming from the water pump? That usually means there's rust on the pump shaft. Or if it's humming really weakly, it might have sucked up a piece of debris, like a hair or a big flake of mineral scale. And here is my absolute favorite neighborly tip for you. Go to the pharmacy and grab a tiny baby bottle brush. It is literally the perfect, simple tool to gently clean out those tiny water transfer tubes and sensors without breaking anything. Let's tackle the mechanical side in section 4, sensor and tray solutions. Okay, so what if the water is flowing perfectly, but the actual mechanical tray inside your countertop unit is acting completely crazy? Maybe it's squeaking, jamming, or just endlessly moving back and forth. I know that terms like limit switches and sensors can sound highly technical and super intimidating, but I really want to reassure you here. These are actually incredibly cheap, very simple plug-and-play fixes. You absolutely do not need a degree in electrical engineering for this. Replacing these little guys basically just means unscrewing a tiny piece of plastic, unplugging a wire, and snapping a new one in. Let's match up your exact symptoms with the right simple fix. If your tray is just cycling up and down endlessly and won't stop, you're going to want to replace the lower left limit switch. If the tray is stuck all the way at the bottom, but you can still hear the compressor trying to freeze the water, then your upper limit switch is stuck. If the machine fills up with water but then immediately dumps it right back out, grab that baby bottle brush we just talked about. Gently wipe the hard water mineral sludge right off the little metal sensor wire in the water path so it can actually read the water level again. And if your tray is making a really loud squeaking sound, just take a look at the metal ring holding the tray. It probably just needs a quick rust wipe down and a tiny dab of food-safe grease.
Finally, we reach section 5, cleaning and calcification prevention.
Fixing the symptoms is great, but we really need to talk about the cure. Almost every single problem we've discussed in this explainer today, the clogged tubes, the stuck pumps, the confused sensors, they all stem from hard water calcification. To stop this from happening, you need a basic descaling routine. Step 1, just mix equal parts plain white vinegar and water. Step 2, let that mixture soak right inside the machine's reservoir. Step 3, use that trusty baby bottle brush to gently scrub the scale away. And step 4, run the machine through a few regular cycles so the vinegar actually flushes all the way through those internal pumps. But please listen closely, because I have to give you a critical safety warning here. Do not leave that vinegar mixture soaking in there for more than 30 minutes. Look, vinegar is an amazing natural cleaner that eats through mineral buildup, but at the end of the day, it is still an acid. If you leave it sitting inside the machine, or if you forget to flush it out thoroughly with multiple cycles of plain, fresh water, that leftover vinegar will quickly corrode and rust your internal metal pump shaft. It will completely ruin your motor. So remember, clean it well, but rinse it even better.
And that brings us to our final, biggest takeaway. Regular descaling and a simple little baby bottle brush are absolutely the best tools in your arsenal to keep the ice flowing and save yourself from incredibly expensive repair bills. Spending just 15 minutes doing some basic cleaning and checking those hidden on switches today is literally going to save you hundreds of dollars tomorrow. So I want to leave you with this question to think about. When was the absolute last time you actually looked inside your ice maker and gave it the maintenance it needs to keep your drinks cold? Go check it out today. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy repairing!